Everyone, hope everything is going well. Okay, I got this card the other day. It's Tom Brady Airmail 2014 Panini. I'm going to be buying more cards right now of Brady, of Jordan, the whole 9 yards of the GOATs. They may even be, like I said, raw cards and not graded. I'm just looking at it from a long-term point of view that, hey, look, people will continuously buy these cards unless they've done a lot of evil stuff. Hopefully Tom Brady didn't do anything at these white parties. Now, speaking of these white parties that Michael Rubin now hosts, one of Michael Rubin's buddies and investor pals, Jay-Z, has been accused of doing really, really inappropriate stuff. Now, this has been censored by the hobby. Like, nobody really wants to touch base on it because they're going to be blacklisted if they talk about it. But guess what? I don't care. I've already been blacklisted, so I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And the thing is that Jay-Z, from my research, or it's on there, it's online, put down about what, 350 million bucks in Fanatics. And he's at these events. He was taking pictures with some of these guys. I think he was pictured with Shine. I think he was pictured with a few other Fanatics executives. And yeah, Jay-Z has been accused of doing inappropriate things to a 13-year-old with Diddy. That is crazy, okay? I've heard all sorts of things about Jay-Z. I didn't really talk about it because, look, you hear rumors all the time. I think he was doing shady things based on what I've looked at in the past. But now, there's a lawsuit going on. Are there going to be more lawsuits? Like, how many NDAs have been signed? And what does this mean for Fanatics and Topps, and specifically the card industry as well? Like, why, if Jay-Z did this, and hopefully he did not, okay? Just from the sense of, hey, look, if someone at the top of the food chain is doing these inappropriate things, like, is the, you could quote unquote say, is the deep state trying to unravel and cut the cord on the economy? Sounds crazy, but look, Diddy's going down, Jay-Z's going down, who else? And I was watching the other day a clip where you had this one athlete, I think his name was a football player, Larry Johnson, if I believe. He was on that program, I forgot, on the Blaze with Whitlock. And they were just talking about, or this former athlete was talking about, he went to one of these parties, and I think it was like Beyonce was there, Jay-Z was there, and a few others were there. And he said, like, towards the latter part of the night, they were bringing children, where like people were drinking, people were doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then he left before things got a little crazy. And now he's just thinking, hey, look, what actually went down after he left? And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, if that guy is telling the truth, what other stories are out there? Okay. And then not only that, you see the lawsuit allegation against Jay-Z. You see he's buddies with P. Diddy. And then now we go to the hobby where now you see Michael Rubin hosting these white parties. Diddy used to host these white parties. And then, the go along, get along gangs hanging out with Michael Rubin. And now what does this mean for cards? It's like, if Rubin knows shady things are going down, why is he associating with these characters, with these people? Now, if nothing's going on, okay, it's a nothing burger, but You know, that phrase, flocks of a feather, go together, whatever it is, right? I mean, it just seems weird. And, this is being pushed down to children. This is being pushed down to the hobby. Like, what's going on? And I mentioned the other day that, hey, look, is Fanatics, I'm just asking questions, the deep state of the hobby, right? You got the former FBI guy working there. In the beginning, it appeared to me that there were loaded boxes, and their audit scope is not even looking at all the collaborations that they're doing. So, I mean, that audit study is flawed in my opinion. Now, put that aside. I'm just looking at all these characters. You could look at Shine, you could look at, Ruben hosting these white parties, you could look at his connections now to Jay-Z. Now, does this mean that Fanatics, if Jay-Z actually did these horrible things, would Jay-Z have to, sell his portion of it? You see Fanatics really, really quiet about this. Really quiet. Okay? But I've worked in a company, it's called WPP. Not anymore. But at the time, right around when I left, the CEO, Sir Martin Sorrell, was accused of using company funds to solicit a prostitute. And he basically left after that moment. And that was a guy that created the company. At the time, or a few years before I left, WPP was considered the gold standard of marketing. Now it's not. Their stock price hasn't gone anywhere the past decade. But they were on top of the world at one point. And they let him go. Or he left, from my understanding. Now, what's going to go on with Ruben and this Jay-Z connection, right? You're not going to see anyone, or you're not going to see a lot of people cover this in the hobby. Okay, the only person that's covered it, only people that I've seen is Discord Board Life. And then there's, Jay, and who I'm going to have on Friday. Otherwise, no one's going to look at Ruben closely. No one's going to look at Jay-Z closely, Diddy, what actually going on and what's going on in the hobby. So it is what it is. A petition, I know a petition was looked into a few years ago, but a petition is not going to stop guys like Michael Rubin hanging out with weirdos in Hollywood, okay? The only petition, boycott, if you want to call it, that could potentially work is, hey, look, Fanatics needs to address these issues. And if they don't address these issues, don't buy. And I think that's a fair stance. I'm not going to be starting a petition, but like if I were to start one, if I were to organize a boycott, as some people on Instagram did, that's how you do it. Like, it was just ridiculous with some of these things a year and a half ago or a year ago. Like, there are so many naive people in this hobby, and now all of this is coming to light. And now they're quiet. They won't say anything, just like with card porn. The fingers were pointed at me rather than card porn. Like, people were more mad at me than card porn. That's how crazy things are in the hobby. So, it is what it is. So, anyways, let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.